What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast as we continue looking at fantasy football for this upcoming season. And today we're going to break down who I think are the top 10 quarterbacks for fantasy football for the 2025 NFL season. Now, you guys are going to see some of these names on here and you're going to be like, that's not a top 5 quarterback. That's not a top 10 NFL quarterback. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about fantasy football. Today we're doing the quarterbacks. We're going to do running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Talk about the top 10 at each position, guys that you need to target when it comes time for your draft. We're in the dog days of summer right now. There's not a whole lot going on in the real football world. Fantasy drafts are coming. People are starting to figure out draft order for redraft leagues. Rookie drafts are happening for your dynasties. Now's the time to really start looking at this. And we're going to start with quarterbacks. And like always, we're going to go from 10 to 1. So number 10 quarterback for me, quarterback 35 last year. I'm going Justin Fields for the New York Jets. Guys, I'm a Dolphins fan, okay? There's no homerism here. There's no, he's a Jets fan. Of course he's saying that. I hate the stupid Jets. Justin Fields' projections for this year are 3,400 yards, 17 touchdowns, 12 picks all through the air, and then another 820 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. Last year, he got benched by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think that was because of how he was playing. He was solid. Through those 6 games he played, he was averaging just shy of 19 fantasy points a game. If you stretch that out over an entire NFL season, that would have been quarterback 8 last year. And it was on a team with no weapons. He's got more weapons for the Jets. I'd argue the Jets' offensive line is better than the Steelers' offensive line. I don't even think that's much of an argument. The Jets' offensive line from left to right looks really, really solid. Fields is going to have time in that pocket. I know he's not the best processor, and he struggles to read the field. He's got a lot of time, and he's still a freak athlete. When you look at his stats, his passing numbers, their projected passing numbers, aren't going to blow you away. But rushing numbers, 823 yards on the ground and 7 touchdowns from the quarterback position, that's huge, man. That is absolutely huge. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's a top 25 quarterback in the NFL. I think he is a bottom 5 or 6 quarterback in the NFL, but that doesn't matter when it comes to fantasy football. That just simply doesn't matter. He's got the significant rushing upside. He's going to be running the ball a lot for the Jets, and I like what they've done with the offensive line. I think he could have a really solid season for the Jets, man. I really do, and I don't like that. As a Dolphins fan, again, I really don't like that, but I could absolutely see it happening. So Justin Fields coming in at QB 10 for fantasy football purposes for the 2025 season. Next guy I've got at quarterback 9. He was quarterback 14 last year. I'm going Justin Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers. Projected numbers are 4,200 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 10 interceptions all through the air, and then 265 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. He's not as much of a threat on the ground, obviously, as Justin Fields and other guys that are going to be on this list. And he's everybody's top 5 quarterback that just can't get it done when it matters in the playoffs. Little shot there. But it doesn't matter because fantasy football ends in the regular season. I don't care what you do in the playoffs for this. That does not matter for this exercise at all. I think that he's a quarterback 1 on a team. I think he's a quarterback you can start every single week and get 18 to 25 points, and you can just pretty much lock that in because he is a stud. He is one of the best 6 or 7 quarterbacks in the entire NFL. He's got the arm for it. He's got a second year of Vlad McConkey, who I am very high on this year. And then bringing in, you've got an improved running game with Omarion Hampton being drafted. Another year in this system for all of these guys. I do think Herbert has a better year. And last year, in what I would consider to be a down year for him statistically, he was still quarterback 14. So I think he can absolutely grow on that and have another really strong year this year. So I expect an average Justin Herbert year, which is better than last year, which was quarterback 14. I think quarterback 9 for Justin Herbert is very, very reasonable. Quarterback number 8 for me is quarterback number 10 last year. It is Kyler Murray from the Arizona Cardinals. Projected numbers this year, 3,870 passing yards, 22 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions, to go along with 597 yards and 5 touchdowns. And earmuffs, kids, if your kids are watching this, which I wouldn't recommend, but if you are, earmuffs, it's time to shit or get off the pot if you're Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals in general, in my opinion. Enough of this mid-crap. Enough of, we're going to win 7 to 9 games and never compete for anything. No. It's time to get going. It's time to figure it out and get going, coaching staff and quarterback-wise. Kyler Murray's the franchise guy that they paid him to be. It's time to show us that. What has he done to show us that in his entire career? I don't know. What I do know is he is damn good in fantasy football, especially with the scrambling ability. He's got, in my opinion, the second best tight end in all of football in Trey McBride. and a second-year Marvin Harrison Jr. Just another year for these guys to gel together and hopefully start figuring it out. I think when you take the weapons he has around him and his growth as an overall passer, along with his running ability, if he stays on the field, this guy's a fantasy football producer, and he's a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. Next guy I've got for you guys, quarterback number 7. First quarterback that falls a little bit here. Everyone else is out. I'm positioning them ahead of where they ended. This was quarterback 3 last year. I've got him at quarterback 7. Still pretty good. Going Baker Mayfield with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Projected numbers for him all through the air here. 4,162 passing yards, 33 passing touchdowns go along with 14 picks, along with 319 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns. His turnaround for his career has been so fun to watch. I can't talk about it enough. Just this offseason, just a few months ago, look at our top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. I had him top 5, baby. I had him number 4. I had him at number 4. I'm obviously a huge Baker fan. I've loved seeing what he does. But he doesn't offer the rushing upside in fantasy football, and that scares me. And he did lose his offensive coordinator in Liam Cohen. How is the offense going to look? They did add another stud wide receiver in Emeka Egbuka. So now they've got him, Jalen McMillan, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans, along with Cade Otton and Bucky Irvin. I mean, it is an embarrassment of riches on the offensive side of the ball for Tampa Bay. So Baker's going to do what Baker does. And if he puts up these numbers, I don't think anybody's going to really complain, are you? 4,500 all-purpose yards, 35 touchdowns, 14 turnovers. That's an unbelievable season. That's good for quarterback 7 for me. Quarterback number 6, another guy rising in my opinion. He was quarterback number 11 last year. Outside the top 10 is kind of shocking. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. Projected season for him is 4,373 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 picks, and then adding 368 yards on the ground and 3 rushing touchdowns. His stats haven't been that great since the offense was that dominant. They haven't had to be. But this year, I expect him to rebound. I really do. You see Travis Kelce getting in shape early this year. He seems hungry. It's like they needed to get smacked in the mouth to realize, okay, we can't sleepwalk through the seasons anymore. We can't. We've got to come in ready to go, ready to be physical, ready to be tough, and just start blowing people out. You've got Kelce coming back stronger. You've got Rashee Rice coming back, who missed most of last year. And we've got another season of Xavier Worthy in this system. I think we're going to get back some top-tier Patrick Mahomes. I think this might be another year where he's like first or second in MVP. This is a year where Patrick Mahomes comes out and absolutely slings it. Now, that doesn't totally matter in fantasy football because he doesn't have the rushing numbers to couple that with, and passing stats just aren't as valuable as rushing stats in fantasy football. But I do expect Patrick Mahomes to be awesome this year and definitely play himself back into the top 10, if not the top 5. Quarterback number 5 for me was quarterback number 9 last year, and that is Jaylen Herz from the Philadelphia Eagles. Projected numbers this year, 3,700 passing yards, 22 passing touchdowns, 10 picks, to go along with 681 yards on the ground and 14 rushing touchdowns. There it is right there. That is why he will be top 5. That is why. Because the tush push was not banned. As hard as the NFL owners tried, and it came up just short, it's not banned. And guess what? That's going to continue to make Jaylen Herz a fantasy football machine. He's going to end up with double-digit touchdowns. He's going to end up with double-digit rushing touchdowns. He's going to have 10 to 14-yard touchdowns on the ground, along with about 700 rushing yards and just solid passing numbers. Those predicted passing stats aren't fantastic, but they're not terrible either. They're nothing like, it's not embarrassing. But then you add the double-digit rushing touchdowns and the 700 yards on the ground. And you just know every game, if they get down to the 1, he's scoring you a touchdown. He's just going to get you a touchdown almost every single week. And that is so valuable from a quarterback position. When you can lock in 6 points on the ground as a quarterback every single week, that's awesome. I think he just continues to stay as a top QB in fantasy football, man. And the Eagles are going to be awesome this year. They're not going to take a step back. They're going to be awesome. So Jaylen Herz rounds into the top 5 to kick us off. Quarterback number 4, another guy that slips just a little bit, as he was actually quarterback number 2 last year, and he breaks the mold of it having to be a rushing quarterback. Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, comes in at QB 4 for me. Projected numbers are 4,638 passing yards. I believe that is the most of any quarterback. 34 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and then 200 yards in the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns. Again, like I say here, he's the only quarterback in the top 5, spoilers, that doesn't give you a rushing upside. He's not a guy that you're worried about hurting you on the legs. But the Cincinnati Bengals don't believe in defense. They don't think it's necessary. Shamar Stewart, we're going to take you in the first round, and we're not going to pay you. So you can play, you cannot play, we don't care. Trey Hendrickson, we're not going to pay you. You can play, you don't have to play, it doesn't matter. Free agency, never heard of her. We're going to pay Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. We're going to keep this offense rolling. And yeah, you may score 40. We're going to score 50. We're going to try to outscore you. So betting against Joe Burrow to go crazy again is a silly bet. I mean, they're going to have to score just an unbelievable amount of points in order to win football games. Burrow had 5,000 passing yards last year, and they're bringing back the exact same supporting cast. I expect them and that offense to move up and down the field at will. You can lock him in for 3 touchdowns and 300 yards almost weekly. Almost weekly, you can just lock that in, and that is awesome. I take that very happily. And Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are still there, and so is Mike Gesicki. Another year with Chase Brown at the running back position. They're going to move the ball, people, and the ball touches Joe Burrow's hands every single play. Quarterback number 3 was quarterback number 5. It's JD5. It's Jaden Daniels for the Washington Commanders, coming off an unbelievable rookie season, by the way. Predicted numbers for him are 4,142 passing yards, 26 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and then adding in 811 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. That's fantastic numbers. Those are awesome stats to have for a full season for him if that's what he actually hits. He was quarterback 5 last year, and they came into the year as a bad football team. The Commanders were not supposed to be any good last year, and they went to the NFC Championship game. That's crazy. And a lot of it is because of Jaden Daniels. And then you look at what Washington did this offseason. They added Laramie Tunsil to that offensive line that struggled to block. Now you've got an elite left tackle. They added Deebo Samuel, who I don't think is very good anymore, but it gives you someone that you think you can rely on to at least catch passes to go along with Terry McLaurin, assuming they don't trade him. There are some rumors. But I do not expect a sophomore slump out of Jaden Daniels this year. I think that they struck gold with him at pick number 2. I think that has worked out very well. Not saying that a different quarterback wouldn't have worked out well there, but that fit was just perfect for them, and they proved it last year. And when you make it to the NFC Championship game as a rookie and you're quarterback 5, I'm going to give you a bump for your second year because I think you're going to take a step. So give me Jaden Daniels at QB3, leaving us with our final 2. Quarterback 1 and quarterback 2, you guys know who they are. You don't know what order they're in. Unless you know me, then you do know what order they're in. Quarterback number 2 was quarterback number 4 last year, and it is Josh Allen with the Buffalo Bills. Last year, our predicted stats for this season, 3,943 passing yards, 27 passing touchdowns, 11 picks, 582 yards on the ground, and 11 rushing touchdowns. I mean, he's last year's MVP. He was a top 5 quarterback last year. He steps right back into the same situation, and I think we should just all expect him to produce at the same level he did last year. I don't see any reason why Josh Allen isn't the first or second quarterback taken in every single fantasy football draft. You're expecting double-digit touchdowns on the ground to go along with 25 to 30 passing touchdowns. So you're looking at right around 40 total touchdowns to go along with probably 4,500 yards. Yes, please, you'll take that. I mean, that's pretty much automatic for him. He's been in the league he's been in the league 8 years, but the last 5 years, all 5 of the last 5 seasons, he has been a top 4 quarterback in fantasy football. So you just can't stop that, and that's not going to change this year. It's just not. As much as I would like it to, it's just not. Quarterback number 1 for me is quarterback number 1 from last year, and that is Mr. Lamar Jackson from the Baltimore Ravens. Predicted numbers this year, 3,705 passing yards to go along with 31 touchdowns and 10 interceptions, and 900 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. He's QB1 last year. He's QB1 this year, folks. 2-time MVP. He is my number 1 quarterback going into the season, and how can he not be? You cannot make an argument against him. You really can't. Over 5,000 all-purpose yards last year to go along with 45 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and then it's an identical supporting cast. What did the Ravens change? What are we really worried about for them? Nothing. I don't know. Their left guard is different. Oh, no. I'm sure he's going to make it work. Derrick Henry's still there and playing at a high level. Lamar Jackson makes it work with whoever the hell he has out at wide receiver. You don't even have to really worry about it, man. Expecting Lamar Jackson to not play elite football is something that hasn't happened since he was named the starter of the Baltimore Ravens. Since he has been named the starter, he has been playing elite football. And expecting him to not do that this year, you're shooting yourself in the foot in fantasy drafts if you pass on him thinking, oh, it's okay, I'll get someone else later. Lamar Jackson's a league-winning quarterback. He's going to get you where you need to go. He's going to be on most championship fantasy football teams this year. He just is. He is the guy. And you can get him in the 3rd or even maybe sometimes the 4th round, depending on how the draft is falling. People are going to want Allen first, and that's understandable, of course. People are going to want Jaden Daniels early because he's exciting and he's young. If you can get Lamar Jackson in the mid to late third round or even the fourth round, I think that's a slam dunk pick. And you can just, yep, I've got the best quarterback. I've got the number one quarterback for fantasy football this season. Thank you very much. And I didn't have to spend a premium pick on him. You don't have to spend a first-round pick to get the number one quarterback. You can spend a third-round pick on him, and that's a huge win in my opinion. So those are my top 10 quarterbacks going into the 2025 fantasy football season. We will have running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends coming out soon. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Comment down below who's in the wrong spot. Who did I forget? Who deserves to be on this list that I did not have on here? Curious to hear your guys' thoughts, and we'll see you guys in the next one.